The moving image is the main pillar to the screen industry and can be produced in many different ways to be constituted as a prop for storytelling. Visual effects such as moving backdrops in older films, to added animated characters in live-action films, to computer-generated images that can create entire new worlds seen more frequently today, have been added to film, television, video games, and now virtual reality to add to the story. Motion capture is one of these technological advancements that has added so much to recent screen entertainment. Motion capture, or mocap, is a relatively new concept in the film industry. However, the advancements over the past 20 years, since James Cameron's first use in Terminator 2 in 1991, have been extremely progressive and mind-blowing for audiences. The use of several cameras and tracking technology placed on subjects, the technique transforms live performances into a digital performance that can be altered in real time or post-production. The final image can or not take on a human shape. It is, as the name suggests, for motion capturing. Motion capture has been argued to be a form of animation throughout the industry. However, in 2010, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences stated that motion capture by itself is not an animation technique. Although true, Steven Spielberg's 2011 film, The Adventures of Tintin, won a Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature Film, however was declined as a nomination by the Academy for the same category due to the rules mentioned before. Therefore, motion capture has divided the industry into whether it is a form of visual effects or animation. Animation really started out in 1645 with the magic lantern, and so far other devices such as the phenakitoscope, zoetrope, flipbook, and praxinoscope were invented. These, however, used forms of illusion and stop motion. Max Fleischer then invented the rotoscope, a mix of stop motion and live performance by actors to create animations. The scene was shot, then film was developed, and the images were projected onto glass and redrawn by the animator. This is how motion capture came to be, but a more digitalized version. Andy Serkis is a name that is attached to this cinematic movement. He made the technology somewhat famous with his performance for Gollum in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings series. At this point in time, multiple cameras, primary and reference cameras, were used to pick up light from Serkis's bodysuit. This was all done in a soundstage or a different room and not with other actors or on location. This was all changed with Two Towers and also Pirates of the Caribbean 2, with Bill Nighy's Davy Jones. Hull Hickel from Industrial Light and Magic said that interaction between a computer-generated character, the tentacles of Davy Jones, and live actors on set was a challenge for the visual effects team, as this was all new to them at this point in cinema history. Around this time, mocap was still being experimented with. Serkis had been attached to many films to showcase his specialty in mocap over the years. He said that with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, there had been many changes in techniques since Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and this technology is still evolving. This gives us an idea that the technology is still advancing. Another pioneer in the field, Robert Zemeckis, took mocap and took it far from conventional filmmaking. His films The Polar Express, Monster House, and A Christmas Carol used motion capture to generate extremely human-like movements, but applied to 3D computer-generated characters. The Polar Express was received well by audiences, however the latter were met with less enthusiastic responses due to the phenomenon called Uncanny Valley. This is where the movies reached the threshold between animation and live action, where the characters were just not human enough and caused an unappealing image to viewers. Filmmakers wanted the audience to lose themselves in the worlds and storylines of the screen text.
The reaction we were trying to get from the audience was to say, oh my god, look what they did to Johnny Depp, rather than saying, oh look at the cool computer-generated creature.
Furthermore, James Cameron's Avatar in 2009 was innovative and definitely one of the most groundbreaking films in recent years. He knew audiences were sensitive to the renderings of the human face. However, he knew that if the movements and expressions were tracked well, disbelief and awe will take over and technology disappears behind the storyline. With the aid of face recognition and smaller cameras placed in front of the actor's face, more detailed human emotion allowed Cameron to avoid Uncanny Valley with Avatar. Overall, motion capture technology has had huge implications on films, television, and video games in the past 20 years. From early experiments and exhibitions with Robert Abel's televised Brilliance ad to feature films that have used this technology, studios are battling to find new and innovative ways to reel in audiences for the wow factor, but also keep the characters real enough that they don't fall into the trap Robert Zemeckis did with his more recent releases. In the end, motion capture is a brilliant tool that filmmakers are finding useful to generate new characters without the need of animators, and actors are finding this new field to be extremely useful to develop their acting abilities.